talk about a new topic, which is semantics. And you know semantics, it is not an easy task to talk about meaning. And semantics is defined as the study of meaning in general. But there are several types of meaning. Okay? It is not for semantics to deal with all of those types of meanings. Okay? Now we are going to start with meaning. Meaning is a philosophical issue. Much has been said about meaning, and scholars try to find some answers concerning meaning. For example, philosophers try to answer the questions and to solve the ambiguity concerning meaning by resorting to logic and philosophy, just like Frege. Frege is a German mathematician and a philosopher who tried to solve the ambiguity of meaning by resorting to logic and mathematics. So he established some kind of special language to solve ambiguity. I mean, what makes meaning so complicated is that the ambiguity that it causes in many cases. Okay? Therefore, meaning is till now is considered to be a very complicated issue. Even Arab grammarians try to solve such a problem concerning meaning. For example, ma'na al-ma'na, or they try to find an answer for what is the meaning of meaning. What makes a word so meaningful? Okay? So, words can have conceptual meanings and associative meanings. So, conceptual meaning, first of all, let us define both terms, conceptual and associative, to set the border lines between the two terms. Conceptual meaning is the meaning we find in dictionaries. Now, dictionaries are designed to give us the conceptual meanings of words in general. Okay? Now, conceptual meanings do not talk about or include other types of meanings that come to our minds. Okay? Conceptual meanings, the thing about conceptual meaning is that it is shared by all language users, okay? It is shared by all users of a particular language, to be more precise, okay? Therefore, we know, for example, a needle is a sharp, thin instrument, okay? So when you come to, for example, the word needle, when we search in the dictionary, we will find that the word needle means a sharp, thin, steel or metal, instrument, or entity. It's called entity. But those are the basic components of meaning concerning the word needle. Okay? So all language users or users of a particular language, they share such basic component meanings or elements of meanings concerning the word needle, which is a sharp, thin metal instrument. Okay? But other types of meaning, just like the associative meaning, or the things or the associations that are attached to the word needle, are not included in conceptual meaning. So, therefore, dictionaries do not tell us about the other associations or the associated meaning of the word needle. Because the associative meaning differs from one person to another. Okay? In terms of different experiences, different memories about the word needle. Therefore, when we say needle, the associative meaning of needle, the word needle, is pain, illness, drug, blood. Therefore, the associative meaning of needle means that the things that come to our mind when we first hear or read the word needle. Okay? For example, my son, he had a bad experience concerning the word needle. He got ill, so I took him to the doctor. So the doctor told me to give him some injections because he had some kind of infection. Okay? So when I took him to the hospital, I find a nurse whose name was Muhammad. So Muhammad gave him the injection. Because the injection the needle was so painful, he kept an associative meaning with the word needle. Whenever we tell him that we're going to give him an injection, and becomes the word needle to his mind, the first thing that comes to his mind is Muhammad, and pain, blood, and so those are the associative meanings that come to his mind when he first hears or reads the word needle. So associative meaning is not covered by dictionaries. Okay? Associative meanings are not shared by all human beings or all users of a particular language. Due to the differences in our experiences, so we have different associative meanings. Okay? For example, when the word examination comes to my mind, I remember the status of feeling uncomfortable, feeling how at that time being worried, for example, waiting for the question sheet to come and stuff like that. Other people do not share with me such associative meaning. They might have their own experiences, like, for example, love and examination atmosphere, or being anxious to do the exam, or being, for example, it's a chance to get a high grade or something like that. So different associative meanings with that. Okay? Now we can say that conceptual meaning refers to the objective meaning of word, the conventional meaning of words. You know the word conventional? What's the meaning of conventional? From convention. Convention, something known by all people, something well known, something shared by most people. That's why we call it conventional. Okay? The conventional meaning of a word means that the meaning that we can find in a dictionary. Okay? Here associative meaning can be linked to the subjective meaning. Subjective meaning, the local meaning, the meaning that is not shared by all people. So that's why associative meaning differs of a particular word, differs from one person to another. Okay? Now we move to any question concerning that point? Conceptual and associative? Yes, Ghafran? You have a question? Do you have something to add? Anything to add? Yes, Zahra?
Actually, explain about meaning. Meaning means the explain of word. And conceptual its meaning is the main meaning or the main word, and associated Like needle, needle is conceptual, but a sharp thin.
So the conceptual meaning of the word needle can be found in any dictionary.
Yeah.
When you consult a dictionary, you will find the conceptual and therefore or enhance the conventional meaning of the word needle, which is a sharp, thin metal instrument, okay, or entity that is used for specific occasion or in specific occasion for specific purposes, okay? So this is what we find in the dictionary. But what about associative meaning? Yes? Yes, thank you, Zahra. Yes.
Association is things that we have in our mind about the meaning of the words.
In our minds, yes.
Our minds about the meaning of the word.
Of a particular
it differs from one person
yes, it differs from.
to another person.
So that's why we call it local or subjective meaning or local meaning.
Because we avoid to account the local meaning in conceptual meaning. And the conceptual meaning covers the basic and essential components of the meaning of the words, which is deal with the literal meaning of the word.
Good. So it is the literal use of the word. Refers to the literal use of the word, the conventional meaning of the words. Okay? And do not cover other types of meaning. Therefore, semantics is involved in studying the meaning that has nothing to do with the speaker's intended meaning or has nothing to do with the speaker's intention or the meaning of specific words or what those words mean in specific occasions or in particular occasions. Only covers the conventional meaning of words. So conceptual meaning covers the conventional meaning of words that are found in dictionaries. Good, thank you. Who else? Yes, Zaid?
So, we have some examples.
You have anything to add? Something associated meaning?
No, sir.
No? Kufran? Thank you. Yes, Fatima?
Conceptual meaning is helpful as a means to measure the audience in that sentence.
Audience, yeah. Oddness, not oddness.
Yes, in the sentence like.
Oddness means ambiguity of meaning, in terms of meaning. You know, things can be ambiguous in terms of meaning. What do we mean by ambiguity? When we have two different meanings of a word, or a sentence, or a phrase. So that's why we call it an ambiguous sentence. Ambiguous, because it has two interpretations. That's why we call it ambiguous. So you need to know the meaning of ambiguous. Yes.
Like the boy, the hamburger and the boy. It is syntactically good, but semantically it has an audience.
Good. So sometimes we have sentences that are, from a syntactic point of view, acceptable, but semantically, or from a semantic point of view, it is odd. They are odd. Such sentences are odd, actually. Why? Because they don't make sense. Against logic. Illogical. For example, when we say, the boy ate the hamburger. Okay? It is acceptable both semantically and syntactically. Why? Syntactically it is acceptable. we have a noun phrase here occupying the first position, the initial position of the sentence. We have a verb, and we have what? A noun phrase here occupying the position of the object. So syntactically, it is okay, it is acceptable. But when we reverse those two noun phrases and we have the hamburger ate the boy, here we have a different meaning but the same structure. Although sentence preserves its structure, there's no change in structure. Still, we have a noun phrase occupying the first position, a verb, and a noun phrase occupying the last position, which is the position of the object. Okay? So it is syntactically acceptable. There's no problem with it. But semantically, it is odd. It is unacceptable. It is hard for us to believe that the hamburger ate the man. It is illogical. It is against logic. Therefore, it is not acceptable. We cannot accept it. Okay? Here, we can move to the semantic features. Now, semantic features can solve the problem. You know, sometimes we have semantic ambiguity in terms of meaning, and we have structural ambiguity. Now, how can we differentiate between the two? The difference is that in the case of structural ambiguity, when a sentence is structurally ambiguous, because it has two different meanings. Okay? For example, she hit a man with an umbrella. Now, such a sentence is structurally, what do you say, ambiguous or not?
Ambiguous in the meaning of the sentence, but structurally it is good.
So structurally, there's nothing with it. Why do we have two interpretations for that sentence?
Because she maybe hit the man who...
She either hit a man with an umbrella, or she hit a man who happened to carry an umbrella. Now we can solve that problem by means of transformational generative grammar. Okay? But what about ambiguity of meaning? How can we deal with ambiguous sentences? For example, the hamburger ate the boy. It is semantically odd. Why? Because the semantic features of the hamburger, which is a noun phrase, this entity is minus animate. And this position, the position of the subject, being a subject requires an entity that carries the feature plus animate, and not minus animate. You know what's animate? Animate of being. Animate of being. So we cannot imagine that an entity like the hamburger, which is minus animate, can perform the action of eating the boy, which is plus animate. Now, semantic features are like distinctive features that we know about. You know what semantic features. You dealt with that term or that last year. Distinctive features help us to differentiate between what? So we have in plus or minus can give us the difference between two phonemes. Okay? Now we have phonemes that share with each other many features, but they differ in one feature. And that's the main purpose or the main merit of distinctive features. Now semantic features also help us to deal with the ambiguity of meaning. For example, here at the first position, so as to say that the hamburger does not fit that position, we need another entity which is plus animate, because the verb eat or here or ate requires an entity or a subject that can be or that carry the feature of plus animate. Plus being plus animate and plus human enables you to eat what? To eat the hamburger, not vice versa. Okay? Therefore, it is not acceptable from a semantic point of view. And the acceptable sentence is the boy ate the hamburger. Why? Because here the boy occupying the position of the subject is plus animate, and therefore that entity is capable of performing the act of eating the hamburger. Okay? So now it makes sense. Now it is logical. Okay? Now, why do we consider a particular sentence ambiguous? Because it doesn't make sense. Okay? Now, having semantic features. Now, you know, we deal with plus or minus. Plus means having an additional feature. Okay? Now, for example, we can differentiate between boy and man in terms of their semantic features. Now, the semantic feature man, the semantic features are what? No. First of all, is it animate or not? Plus an animate or minus it. So it is plus animate, plus human, minus plus male, plus male, minus adult. Plus adult, sorry. Then, boy, when we contrast it with boy plus animate plus human plus male minus adult. Therefore, they differ in only one semantic feature. Now, semantic features help us to decide which entity or which word can fill a particular position. For example, now the boy married the woman, for example. Now, it is syntactically acceptable, but it is semantically odd, because here the boy, although it is plus human, plus male, but it is minus adult, and the act of marrying the woman requires a subject who is what? Carries the feature of, or an entity that carries the feature of plus adult. Therefore, it is illogical. Doesn't make sense. It is odd. Okay? Therefore, the boy is not the perfect answer. The answer is the man. Because the man is plus adult. Carries the feature, this entity, this word carries the feature or the semantic feature of plus adult. Now, you can realize how semantic features can be so helpful in telling us which words that we should select to fulfill particular positions in certain sentences. Okay? We can contrast the semantic features of, for example, woman and girl. those two entities, women girl. Now, you can give me the semantic features or make a contrast between, in terms of the semantic features, woman and girl. Yes, who else? Fatima. Women plus animate plus human plus female plus adult. Now what about girl? Plus animate okay. Plus human plus female minus adult. Okay? When we contrast between two entities, logically they are animate beings, so it would have to say that plus animate, plus human, but they differ in one semantic feature, that of being adult or not. Okay? Yes, good. Yes, Farah? You have something to add? So we have a table here showing us how, for example, those words or entities differ in terms of their semantic features. For example, we have table, horse, boy, man, girl, woman. Now you can just take a look, close look to that table, okay? So as to this is a table, control table here. Can have the words here, table, what other, woman, horse, boy, man, girl. Here, on the vertical axis, we have animate, human, human, female, human, female, adult. Okay. Now, table minus animate minus women. Table.
That's also women. Plus animate.
Women plus animate. Horse plus animate. Boy plus animate. Man plus animate. Girl plus animate. So the one that differs from the rest of the entities is table, because it's minus animate. Now, human, table minus human, plus, minus, plus, plus, plus. Now, horse and table differ than the rest of the class. Okay? Female, minus, plus, minus, 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 plus. Now, women and girl, they both share the same semantic feature, which is that of being female. Okay? Now, adult, minus, plus, minus or plus, because adult do not apply to horses, only to plus human entities. And we cannot say that that horse is a full-grown adult. This is not the right word to choose, okay? Because adult requires an entity which is plus human. Now boy minus adult, man plus adult, girl minus adult. Now we have boy and girl, they both share that semantic feature, or the semantic feature of being that of being adult. Now it is clear for you how helpful are the distinctive or the semantic features. They have a similar function of that of done by the distinctive features in phonology. They both share the same aim or the same function, that of differentiating between entities. But the difference is that distinctive features, they aim to differentiate between, or they function at, they help us to differentiate between phonemes, okay? But here, semantic features help us to differentiate between words, entities, in terms of meaning, okay? Now we have a clear view how those semantic features are helpful, and how can they participate in helping us to decide which words to choose. Okay? Now words as containers. Words as containers. Now, there is a view that says that a word can be looked from a different angle. That is, a word can be a container of a number of meanings. Okay? A container of containing conceptual or conventional meaning of the words, its semantic features and meanings. So it is a container of what? Of meanings. Okay? Yes, who can? Ibrahim? Zahra? Yes, please. You have something to add?
The semantic features.
Uh-huh.
We have semantic features to understand and ability to have ability to analyze the meaning by know about the animate, plus animate, and minus animate, answer that of for woman and female and adult.
Mm-hmm. So this view helps us in what? In analyzing the basic component or basic components of meaning of a particular word or words in general. Yes, please. Yes. Nothing to yes, please. Not semantic features. I'm talking about words as containers of meaning. No. This view. So it is considered to be a starting point for analyzing the what? The conceptual meanings of words. Conceptual meanings. Now, well, I think we talked about at the very beginning of the lecture about conceptual meaning. Okay? So this view, viewing words as being, or a word as being a container of a number of meanings, is an approach to analyze those components of meanings, okay, or those conceptual meanings of words. Now, is it problematic? Does it have the merits and demerits? Are there some advantages or disadvantages for this particular view? Yes.
From this approach, we can find the component description of words.
Mm-hmm.
But for many words, there is a problem in finding component
Like, for example,
If we want to differentiate between the words
advice,
and warning.
advice, threat, warning. Yes?
Maybe we are not being successful.
Why is that?
Because advice is different from threat and warning. Because this advice is positive, have a positive meaning, and threat have a meaning of command or make a problems with someone and deviate him from some things happen. So it's different. We cannot have right components of this word.
So it is problematic because there are some words that we cannot find the basic component meanings of those words. And so therefore they differ. People differ in terms of understanding those words. They, for example, advise may have positive connotations. For example, you know what's advice? Advice, when you advise someone, it is totally on his benefit. Okay? It is different than suggestion. Suggestion means that both the speaker and hearer, they share some mutual interest in taking that suggestion. Okay? So the speaker includes himself and the hearer in that interest. Okay? So advice is totally on the benefit of the hearer. Yes, that is true. Now we move to the semantic roles. Instead of looking only for semantic features of words, it is maybe more appropriate to look for the semantic roles played by those words in a particular sentence. Okay, there are roles to be fulfilled by words. Okay? The words participate in making the meaning of a particular sentence complete. Okay? There are roles to be played. Therefore, when one word is missing, when a word is missing, there is the meaning of the sentence is not complete, and therefore it is ambiguous. For example, she gave a glass of milk. Now, there is one position that is missing in that sentence, and therefore a semantic role. Okay? She gave a glass of milk to whom? So this is a kind of question that can be raised from such an ambiguity. Okay? But when you say that she gave a glass of milk to me, adding and what? And what? Or she gave me a glass of milk, adding an indirect object, makes the meaning complete. Okay? And therefore, adding and that indirect object plays a semantic role in making the sentence semantically acceptable. Okay? Now, agent and theme. Agent and theme. Yes? So there are different semantic roles. Agent and theme. You start by defining agent. Yes?
Agent is the entity that performs the action. For example, the baby, the boy, not the dog.
Yes.
The boy is the doer of the action, or the person who performed the action, which is knocking on the door.
Good.
This is about agent.
The agent.
Yeah.
The doer of the action.
Yeah.
Okay?
The doer of the action, or someone who performs the action.
Like a subject, for example. The subject, also the doer of the action. Subject, okay? The agent.
Theme.
Yes.
Theme is the entity that involved in or affected by the action.
So, theme or patient, agent, patient. Also, there's another. Is the entity that is that has been affected by the act of the agent. Okay, the doer of the action. Now he is the one, or it is the one, that entity. It is the one who received the act of doing something. Yes. Yes.
For example, second example, the
Yes.
boy knocked the door. The door is the theme, which is the conveyed object, the object in the sentence. Who received the knocking? The door received the knock on the door.
So when we say that, for example, the boy kicked the ball. So we have two semantic roles in this sentence. The first one is played by the agent, okay? Like the boy kicked the ball. Okay? Kicked the ball. Now the boy kicked the ball. Here the boy occupies the position of the or plays the semantic role of the agent, the doer of the action of what? Of kicking. Now, so we have here the agent, and here, who received the action? The theme. Which is theme. Or patient. Also, you can say agent and patient. Okay? So here, we have two semantic roles. The boy as being the agent, and the ball being the theme. Okay? Another example? Yes?
Sometimes a theme can be being described. For example, the ball was red. Red is the theme. We describe the theme, which is red.
So now we are describing. We are not actually performing an action. We are describing the theme. Yes, Zayd?
Agent and theme, the most common semantic role. Agent sometimes, all the time comes human, but sometimes comes not human, like the nature force, like the wind, or the dog, or a machine, like a car.
Good. Thank you. Yes? Who else? Fatima? Okay, moving to instant. We should have some more examples. Like, for example, a car ran over the ball. Now, a car is the agent. Now, the theme is the what? The ball. Who received the act of running over? Who ran over? The car is the agent, is the doer of the action. Now, who received that action? The ball, which is the theme. Now, the dog caught the ball. The dog being the agent who did the act of catching the ball. So the ball is the theme. Now, the dog chased the boy. The dog chased the boy. I think it's obvious. Yeah. The dog is the one who chased, so therefore it is considered as the agent, and now the boy is the theme who received the act of chasing. Okay? Now we move to instrument and experiencer. Yes, Fatima? Instrument and experiencer. Those are different semantic roles. Now, the instrument is defined as when an entity uses another entity to perform a certain action. Now, that second entity is considered to be the instrument. She hit a man with an umbrella. Now, umbrella is the instrument who helped the man to perform the act of hitting. No, it isn't. Now, who's the experiencer here? Who experienced the act of? The experiencer. The man. The man is the experiencer, and the other semantic role is the instrument. Okay? The instrument in which the subject or the agent used so as to perform the act of what? The act of hitting. Okay, good. Yes? Yes, Fatma? Do you have something to add? Nothing? Okay. Yes?
Experience.
Mm-hmm.
When the noun phrase is used to convey the meaning of perception or feeling, like when we say I saw, I feel, I look, this is considered as experience.
Good. Sometimes we are not performing an action actually. We are just experiencing something. So when I say I feel sad, I'm not performing the act of being sad. No, feeling is something different. Feeling you are experiencing. So you are the experiencer here. You are experiencing the feeling of being sad. Okay? So those verbs do not actually signal the act of doing a real action, but an experience in which you might get through, like for example, a feeling, a state of affairs, a state of mind, and a perception of something. Okay? I feel, I understand, I consider. This is not, you are not actually performing an action here. Okay? You're just experiencing something, which is a feeling, or a perception, or a state of mind. Okay. Good. What about location, source, and goal? Those are also different semantic roles. Now, there are some words in the sentence that, or some entities that denote what? Denote the location. Okay? I left the ball in the garden. Now, in the garden refers to what? Location. Okay? I returned the book to Fatima. Now, to Fatima, this prepositional phrase refers to what? Refers to what semantic role? Fulfills what semantic role? It fulfills the semantic role of location. Gives us an idea, source. To Fatima, because Fatima is the source. Now I'm returning the book to Fatima. Okay? Okay? What else? What about goal? Yes, Rawa?
I travel to Baghdad. To Baghdad, it is the goal.
It is the goal. It is our aim to travel. So it fulfills the semantic role of what? Goal. Okay? What about source? I got the book from Fatima. I got the book from the library. Now, from the library is the source here, okay? Is the source here. Good. So it is quite obvious that those semantic roles are, it is so easy to define, to understand those semantic roles and to how they participate in making sense of sentences and giving us the information or the required information, okay? Otherwise, if we just take some elements from any sentence, the meaning of the sentence will be missing and therefore will be incomplete, okay? So we will need to ask more questions to get some more information. Okay, good. What about lexical relations? Lexical